there was no cloud cover, so I could see the summit, which is very rare. And Pablo's like, cool, but a jaguar was just there.
Big cats. Yeah.
You're our Tiger King.
I don't think there's no one who deserves that title less than me, particularly on this show. Welcome, incidentally, to the show. It's Debatable, a fake television show where we debate absolutely nothing. That is Elle, Duncan. I'm pointing. Oh, no. There it is. I still haven't figured this out. I have spatial reasoning problems. And yes, down below is Spencer Hall, who has seen some things in his life. And I don't know if we can talk about them on fake television, Spencer, but I know you've seen some things.
Yeah, no. I've seen some things. I have not had a jaguar in my hotel, as Pablo Torre has. I did sleep in a bus station once, though, and that's a very long...
Why?
Yes. Why? It was the only place I could catch the bus the next day. This was in China, by the way. So.
A Chinese bus station.
So I fulfilled my mother's dreams for me of going abroad to sleep in a bus station once.
And no one stopped you or said anything? It feels like in China, that's not a thing that they would want.
I mean, think about this. And you just come to, and it's in your bus station. And you're just a regular dude or lady hanging out in China, and this is at the bus station. You know what I would do? I'd just keep walking.
Yeah.
Nobody snitched.
Yeah.
Yep. They've seen movies with scenes that involve people like Spencer in bus stations like that one.
It's true.
Keep it moving.
Alabaster, where would you like us to take the metaphorical bus that is this television show? That is, again, not a real television show.
Send the tweet out.
So I think that, that would be great. But I think we'll start with someone who has slept at many a metaphorical bus station. That's Ben Simmons. And our question, as he is now sleeping in a 5-star hotel, was it smart of Sean Marks to call this season championship or bust for the new look Nets?
All right. So I like it when people running giant multinational corporations don't insult my intelligence, right? Like, there is a world in which a Goliath really does want to be seen as a David. And the Nets are not a David. They are, yes, seeded 8th in the Eastern Conference right now. There are a bunch of teams that have been better than them this season. But when Sean Marks says to a group of season ticket holders, quote, championship, that's it, I'd be doing 17 players and another 60 staff members over there a massive disservice if I said anything other than that, because that's what we're all here for, end quote. He is just saying what all of us understand intuitively about this team, which is that if they don't win a title, they will have failed. Because right now, I believe the Nets are a title favorite, the title favorite, due to a couple of things we can discuss, Ben Simmons being one of them, and yes, the evolving protocols in New York City, thanks to Mayor Eric Adams, who would love to be just the captain of the parade boat at the end of this thing. All of that helps make this Goliath thing feel more Goliath-y.
Dude, I'm so laughing at, like, not even Sean Marks' quote, which, by the way, Alabaster, throw it back up. He backs off of that real quickly. Look, he's like, championship, that's it. By the end of the quote, he's like, I mean, if I don't say that, what am I here for? Of course he's supposed to say that. It's like when you ask, like, a quarterback before he's drafted, like, do you think you could be the face of a franchise? And then we make it like clickbait, like, oh, snap, Trevor Lawrence said he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. What's he supposed to say? Of course he's supposed to say that he thinks he's going to be the best. The best part of this story, though, is the quotes from Kyrie, where he's just like, man, on Twitch, right? Like, man, just wait. Just y'all wait. We got 20-something games left. Just wait. I'm like, okay, of which you can currently play in 8 of them? Like, this is nonsensical. Anybody's whose blueprint for a championship run is hope Eric Adams can get this shit done. It's ridiculous, Spencer.
By the way, is Kyrie on Twitch just like getting subs? Is he just getting subscriptions, right? Like, that's what I want to know. Are people like, hey, Kyrie, yeah, man, I subbed to your channel. Do you know how much money, Kyrie? Don't give him that money. Go give it to your favorite recreational craft blogger on Twitch, yes. Right? Go give it to your favorite streamer. Don't give it to Kyrie. Yeah, he can play in 8 out of 23 games. I was thinking about this coming in, y'all, and the thing that really amazes me is a key portion of this strategy is we're relying on a mayor. We're relying on a mayor. If you're relying on the mayor of New York City as a part of your championship hopes, you don't have championship hopes. You don't. That is not someone on your roster. That is not someone on the other team. If you're waiting on policy to save you, you're done. You're cooked.
Oh no, but Spencer, you're underestimating the degree to which Mayor Eric Adams loves being Mayor Eric Adams, guy who can sit courtside at a Brooklyn Nets NBA Finals game. Like this is where the just cravenness of being an almost like refreshingly old school. I'm not saying Eric Adams is Boss Tweed. I'm just saying that he sees a lot of, I don't know, let's call it popular support that would derive from the fact that he could hand deliver, because you're right, this is required as part of the strategy, that he can help hand deliver a title to the city of New York Alabaster. What do you want?
Pablo, are you projecting how you like to be courtside at Nets games?
Yeah.
I mean,
Projecting yourself as Eric
Yeah.
Adams?
He's only worked his
just
way to like the
saying.
15th row at the Knicks, but maybe one day you could shoot name higher and get to the Nets.
No. I've tasted the free Italian food they have in a restaurant. They have like in the they have what this is the other aspect of Barclays, right? So I went and did I sit courtside last week? Yeah, I did. How did I get those seats? You don't have to know that. But the point is, they do
Winning with Kyrie and KD. Like, why are we so sure that like if they can just get this mandate situation worked out, then they're gonna win the championship? As if they were beating everybody, even when Kyrie plays. He does still get to play, and it's not exactly like they're steamrolling teams.
Yeah,
I mean,
so look, there is a Spencer. I mean, you can answer this, but to me, it does speak to the NBA math here, right? Like, I am still very much a believer in how many superstars you got, and then the secondary question of how do they fit, and this one does fit better than the James Harden version of this.
Yeah, I just don't know where Sean Marks got his lessons in surviving in an organization, because one, yeah, they haven't been winning a lot, but this ad effectively saying, oh, when we get everyone back and we get everyone together, we're going to be great. This is doubling down on the fallacy of high expectations. He said championship or bust. That's just verifying, just doubling down on that, which I respect.
That's right.
Because even if it's a lie and he knows it, he's just going 100% for it. What do you tell somebody that you live with, right, when they say, hey, we're going to take the garbage out? I'm going to try today. I have a lot of things to do, and I'm going to try. I'm
going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
What does a face wrestler say when they enter the ring against, say, The Undertaker or an indomitable villain? They say, listen, I may not win, I may lose, but you're going to get 100% effort. We expect to compete for championships. That's what you say. If you want to survive, you say we expect to compete for championships. Exactly. You put it 2 steps down and say, hey, 100% effort. That's what you're going to get from us.
That's why I love this, though. Because, by the way, you know who's doing that right now, Spencer? You know who's employing that wrestling methodology? LeBron James. LeBron James is walking around, leaking to everybody, saying on the record how hard it is to be LeBron James right now. Sean Marks is an 8 seed, and he's like, we're going to win this thing, or you can all blame me. And I love it. I love that.
Well, because that's anticipating that he can get another job. He's acting like somebody who can get another job. If you know you might not get another gig, you're going to be like, well, I anticipate competition. I'm going to try real hard. We'll see if we can get there, which I would do, because you know what I have the excuse of? One of my guys can only play 8 of the next 23 games, and his participation is contingent on a mayor who will say yes to anything if it makes you like him. That's it. The mayor, I like that we even treat him as a steady variable here. Do you know what a mayor says? Whatever you want to hear. That's what, and that's what Nets fans have to remember here, because you know what they want? They too want to hear whatever they want to hear out of this.
Yeah. Eric Adams, Elle, it is worth pointing out, and this is just a municipal politics note. Like, he may not have allegedly lived in New York. Like, he was kind of like living in New Jersey, allegedly, and then had to sort of like say, oh, I'm here. And then it was like a house that he was like renting to like his son or something. There are lots of questions about Eric Adams' general consistency on matters of New Yorkitude. But I do like the idea, Elle, that you pointed out before, that like maybe Sean Marks is also being kind of held hostage here, and he doesn't actually want to say this as much. And he's kind of like now the parent who has to convince all of his kids, like, guys, if we don't win a championship, it's bust.
Yeah.
And
it's over.
That's the guy who, you guys don't have to worry about that, because you're NBA superstars. Me, your dad, has to worry about the bust aspect.
Yeah. That's the good use of almost tears too. It's really good. Yeah, I just think so. The Nets were 13-3 with Katie, Harden, and Kyrie on the court. Okay, right, but Harden is gone. I just think that I think we give this team, and we have for the last year, too much credit for what they could be. I said it before. They're the freaking Dusty Springfield, Nets. It's like we're wishing and hoping and planning and praying, but none of it ever comes to fruition. I'm so tired of on SportsCenter being like, when they're on the court together, they're never on the court together. And then you blew up that nucleus, and now you're bringing in Ben Simmons, who we have no idea what he hasn't played all year. We have no idea what he's going to be, how effective he'll be. We're judging what he's going to do based on what he did the year before. Like, I think there's too many there's too many unknown variables around this team, and we're giving them way too credit just because they have superstars. Is it because the East is not strong to you? See, like, come on, man.
Put up the photo of Ben Simmons.
We don't know what's coming.
Tutored by Kyle Korver yesterday, Al. You got that photo? Because that's what I'm hanging my hopes on.
You mean him almost missing 0-foot jumpers? Back ribbing 0-footers?
They're called mechanics, Alabaster. He's just repeating a motion. He's preparing to increase the distance of those shots.
Elle, to your point, the other factor that we have here, you go, well, Harden's not playing. Well, we got who do we bring in? Surely he's a steady quantity. Surely he's something that's going to be well known and that we can count on down the stretch. Sure, let's just put that on here. Like, it would be tempting to call this team a turducken of NBA excellence in that they may be three things stuffed together to create something which is just kind of not cohesive, but you couldn't even get the chicken. Like, we've now made it like a turduck plus third ingredient that may or may not be viable. We don't know. This is the weirdest culinary metaphor I've ever used, but I'm going to stick with it.
You know what?
As soon as you said Cornish game hen now, like, what is he?
Yeah, which is all bones and no meat. By the way, turducken, really good.
Yeah.
Too difficult to get, too expensive, honestly, for what it's worth. Looks kind of creepy, right? But once you have a nice slice of turducken, it's hard to shake the image.
If it works. The Nets are very turducken, because this could have been a beautiful dish, and yet several ingredients were off.
I do love any dish that, if animals were sentient, would make them regard us as just absolute, like, sociopathic.
Yeah.
Just like Island of Dr. Moreau maniacs.
Yeah.
Like, what are you people doing? Why isn't it enough to just eat us straight up? But no, you're gonna stuff one of us into somebody else and then stuff all of that into another thing.
Yeah.
Like, like how you feed goose, right? You make a goose, like, you Spencer, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
foie gras.
Like,
that's what foie gras is, right?
If we saw a tiger do this, we'd be like, the beauty and majesty of nature, red in tooth and claw. A tiger has taken down a gazelle, and then that gazelle takes a gazelle and stuffs it to an alligator, and you're like, whoa, whoa! I didn't know tigers got down like this.
Have some decency.
I thought they were cute.
Sounds like a Super Bowl snack.
Alabaster, I feel like we have answered your question appropriately. What do you think?
I agree, and I think it's time to move on, and we'll move on to Aaron Rodgers. And our question is,
come on.
Well, this might actually be a step forward in the story. We all assumed a trade this coming offseason, but maybe not the case. What does it tell you that Brian Gutekunst, Little Goody, says he never promised a trade to Aaron Rodgers?
Did you call him Little Goody?
Yeah, Little Goots. Yeah, Little Goots.
Yep. No, Lil Goody has a point here, right? I mean, I just love that we may get just a replay of last offseason, right? Like, you might recall that, like, Aaron Rodgers actually has no legal power to just ask out of this team and his contract. Like, he would actually just have to retire to do so, which is why we got the whole Jeopardy news cycle. Could Aaron Rodgers be the host of America's foremost program devoted to, like, knowledge, which was a fun dystopia to live in briefly. But the reality is, like, right now, Brian Gutekunst is saying that, no, he did not tell Aaron Rodgers that he would guarantee any sort of a trade, any sort of agreement, that he would just leave the team after winning MVP especially. And that, he wants to, win a Super Bowl. And so I don't know how replacing Aaron Rodgers with not Aaron Rodgers is a rational thing to A, do, and maybe more pressingly, B, say aloud when maybe you do want to trade him. And why would you admit that before you even negotiate that trade?
I'm floored. I just like that the GM at this point, after all of this hullabaloo, the GM still comes back and says, "So when you coming to work? When's this happening?" I like at this point in the year 2022, that's what, because he's totally right on paper, right? It's ignoring everything else and it's just pointing and going, "Hey, your stuff's still here. You should just come and play football for us." That's amazing.
I feel like my brain, when I hear the word, just like Aaron Rodgers now, like I black out. Like
You're
I
so done with
immediate.
this.
I noticed that.
I'm not kidding. Like when I do sports, and honestly, like, and I think there is something going on medically. Maybe I need to be inoculated, but I feel like
Immunized.
I'm serious. I'm at the point of this story a year later where just the mere mention of him, or when I'm doing like sports and I'm having these talkbacks. And Rob Domofsky is fantastic. He's one of the best reporters out there, right? He's great. And I'm talking with Louis Riddick, but like immediately I'm sort of transported to that like Trick Daddy video, right? And all I hear is, okay, what's up? Shut up. I don't, it's like I don't care.
Mhm.
I couldn't care less. I just don't care at all. And I feel like until he has something real to say, I don't care. And then until they sign Devontae Adams or like make any movement, I don't care. I don't want to read cryptic messages. I don't care about innuendo. So basically, like what I'm getting at is I don't care.
I love
What
it.
you're getting at, Elle,
Oh my God.
is
Love
that
it.
you
You
feel
guys,
you,
like, why are we doing this to ourselves?
you're asking why is your life as a Sports Center anchor akin to a goose being force fed food until it has to like
We're
choke
back
and
on it.
die?
We are back
Yeah.
on it.
I get it. Like we're at that time of the year where it's like that's what we do. We read cryptic messages from dudes that have just had like cleanses or whatever, and we wonder what this means and we overanalyze it. But you guys, like he loves the attention. And what I have learned from being the mother of a 3.5-year-old that's as dramatic as Aaron Rodgers, honestly, is that you don't feed that attention. Like he has nothing to say right now. So just let's not go there.
It's
I'm serious, and it's not even on some I feel like we are buying into this, like we are feeding this monster, this ego monster. Do you know he's sitting back and laughing at us after we all ate that bait on from Instagram,
Yep.
just to be like, there's no announcement to, oh God, you're so self-important, and like we're feeding the narcissism. So no.
I love it. I'm just gonna egg this on. Come on.
Listen, I can't take a stand on SportsCenter. I got no choice. But today I take my stand.
It sounds like
It's Black History Month, damn it.
it sounds like you need a
got,
cleanse.
like, 4 more
It sounds
days.
like you need to just let this go.
Clearly.
Let this flow through you.
Yeah, maybe I'll be filled with more gratitude, but right now I'm not. I'm filled with piss and vinegar, and I'm over it.
The sad news is, beyond the fact that you only got 4 days left in Black History Month, is that actually this is just starting.
Oh yeah.
Like we're barely even started. Like seriously, like Aaron Rodgers is. We're gonna get so many trade rumors. I mean, the Broncos, right? Alabaster, who give us handicap the trade partners here, because like the Broncos is the one that keeps on getting mentioned. We've seen like photoshops with the Steelers, right? Just like any team without like a real quarterback is conceivably absolutely gonna dive into this pool. And Aaron Rodgers, the guy who clearly relishes the hypothetical scenario of being a free agent without actually being a free agent, wants to taste all of this.
I can't wait. Go ahead, Spencer.
I just want to warn everybody that Pablo's right, and I'm sorry, but if you want to be done with this, you're not going to be done with it, because do you know what an embedded tick of a man this is we're dealing with? Do you want to know what a stubborn, ironclad will sort of person this is? This is a person who just went through a 12-day cleanse, of which, and I looked this up, there's an entire day of powerful laxatives, and he kept going through that. This is a man of great willpower. This is a man who's willing to undergo almost anything in pursuit of a goal. And if his goal is to get out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's gonna happen. I don't know how. His GM doesn't know how, but he's willing to be an enormous irritant as long as it's going to get him what he needs.
Speaking of irritating, because you're totally right. What was that? What was it called? The Panchakarma
Panchakarma
cleanse?
cleanse, yeah.
Yeah. The most annoying part about all of this is that within the next week or so, we're going to end up with the like, I tried Aaron Rodgers cleanse and here's how I felt, and I don't care. So please leave it off my Yahoo and leave it off my timeline. What's it like to do this 12-day cleanse?
Terrible. It sounds
don't-
terrible.
Yo, wait. There's one
care.
day that's we really just zoomed right by the one day just being totally devoted to laxatives thing. What are the other days like?
Yeah, what do you do?
The first 3 days, I don't remember every step. There's a lot of meditation and yoga in between, but the first 3 steps, I believe, the first 3 days are just eating clarified butter. And then letting that pass through your system in either direction.
Shut up.
I am not kidding.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, don't mess.
What?
Don't test this man. He's been through things. He's willing
So
to go
just
through things.
eat a jar of ghee. Ghee is disgusting even when it's melted. Gross.
Cleansing, Elle. Cleansing is the word you want
That
to use
Elle,
there.
clearly you don't value enlightenment as much as Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
does.
I have one other Aaron Rodgers note here. Okay, remember back in the day, if Michael Jordan wanted to say something, or if you wanted to know what Michael Jordan thought, being a regal figure in the sports hierarchy, who did you go to? Ahmad Rashad. You went to Ahmad Rashad.
Yes.
He had a person that he told what he thought. And if you wanted to know what Michael Jordan thought, you went to Ahmad Rashad because he was important enough to have a spokesperson, to have a confidant, a public vessel for his thoughts, wishes, and feelings. Aaron Rodgers ain't that important. And yet, he goes to Pat McAfee. It's like, well, what does Aaron Rodgers think? Well, we got to go to Pat McAfee. I love Pat McAfee, but let me tell you, I don't want him to become this culturally important that we're like, yeah, I need to know what someone thinks. Let's talk to Pat McAfee. Like, is that what you want to do? I've never met Pat. Maybe he makes you feel safe and warm. I mean, that may be possible, but I can't see
It's
being
pretty
like,
funny.
I got to confess what I really think. Let's go to Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I just want to be very clear about this. Pat McAfee is a very wildly talented and now very
Yeah,
wealthy person.
absolutely.
All of it deserved. I get it.
Yeah.
However, you, sir, are no Ahmad Rashad.
No.
The legend of what Ahmad Rashad
I don't think he ever. I don't think he would claim
No,
to be.
he would not.
I mean, I'm just saying, if we're holding people to the standard of being the surrogate of one of the great all-time sports legends, you gotta at least be the best man in a wedding that involves O.J. Simpson and Bill Cosby. Like, come on, dude.
That's the
Like,
bar.
Absolutely. I mean, for those who just don't know the legend of Ahmad Rashad, just go Google him. There are some incredible photos.
Yeah.
Incredible, very real photos.
If anything, I'm on the side that Aaron Rodgers doesn't deserve Pat McAfee. That he's too good for him as a spokesperson. He should go down a couple of levels, okay?
Meanwhile, Jim Gray is like, what do I got to do?
What do I got to do?
What do I got to do?
How do I get
I've been
back in
trying
there?
to do this job for decades now, and I'm also receiving votes in the conversation about sports surrogates. Alabaster?
All right, we can move on. For the record, for your original question that I didn't answer in time, the Packers are still the favorite to retain Aaron Rodgers, followed by the Broncos, 49ers, Colts, Steelers, and Buccaneers, which would be the most interesting.
People keep asking me, would I be torn if he came? My team is the Broncos. They keep saying, like, would you be torn?
That's
Like,
right, Elle.
would it be hard for you? I was like, hell no. Listen, don't get it twisted. I think he is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and I love to see him work. I just don't care anything else about him outside of his job. So, yes, I would love for him to come to Denver, right? Do it. I'm all good with that. Just, I ain't going to follow him on Instagram.
Well, my big Instagram prediction is he's going to show up on Instagram in a video with the Liver King.
Yes.
God.
Yes.
God, yes.
Honoring the
God.
ancestral ways with Aaron Rodgers and the Liver King.
I
That's
saw a
right.
video of the Liver King just eating liver with his kids. I try to be a cultural relativist when it comes to food. I really don't judge, but that made me. Yeah, I felt like I should call some sort of protective services on that one.
Agreed. All right, moving on. We're going to play a round of Whodunnit, the game where we'll give you a quote. You guys have a minute to come together and let us know who done it. First quote. I think part of the challenge is our location, but I mean, there are people going to Oklahoma City, bruh. No offense, but people are going to Oklahoma City and people are going to Milwaukee. And your choices are Malcolm Brogdon, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, and Darius Garland.
I love when NBA players now have to like act like mayors to bring our conversation full circle. Like this is like,
promote their city.
Right, the whole small market concept. I mean, gosh.
I honestly, when I first saw this and I didn't see the choices, I thought that it was Anthony Edwards, and I thought like, oh, he's talking about Minnesota. But he is not one of the choices. So we talking about Donovan Mitchell, Utah, right? Like
Donovan Mitchell in Utah absolutely fits the criteria, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Damian Lillard.
So the Portland's
a harder sell than some people might think it is. So I'm gonna go with Damian Lillard because this is somebody who just had a partner traded away, right? And desperately needs help.
Fair.
Right.
Okay.
CJ McCollum, incidentally, traded to a team that I would expect also to feel this way in the New Orleans Pelicans. But Damian Lillard basically fundamentally trapped in a city that he clearly both loves and feels perpetually frustrated by does add up to me. I'll go B, Damian Lillard too. Elle, where are you voting?
I was gonna go Donovan Mitchell, but I think that I think you convinced me that it's Damian Lillard.
All right, let's see. Alabaster.
I think part
final
of it is that, but I mean, bro, people going to Oklahoma City, bro. Like, no offense, but like people going to Oklahoma City and people going to Milwaukee, and you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Like
Portland is a better city than both.
There we go.
I agree.
See,
Portland I mean, look, I get that like Portland has a very, very skewed set of racial demographics. No spinning that. But like in terms of just a place you want to go, I've been to Portland on vacation. It's fun. Great food, lots of food trucks, access to like lots of pine trees, right? You can go to the Oregon coast, which is beautiful. I love it there.
My in-laws and my sister-in-law live there. They live in Portland, and it's funny because I don't know if it's because of where we currently live or because we're Black, but whenever I say that my family lives in Portland, they're like, Maine? I'm like, no. And they're like, Portland, Connecticut. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a Portland, Connecticut. No, Portland, Oregon. Oh, shocked. Really? As if Black people have never found their way to the Pacific Northwest.
You got to be okay with people in like knit beanies, you know?
Yeah.
And like, that's, you know, either you're there or you're not. It's a hard sell.
And apparently it's just like, Alabaster put that card down. Like it is crazily sad, the idea that Damian Lillard, right? Like, okay, here are the highest paid players other than him. Eric Bledsoe, Joe Ingles, Josh Hart, and Yusuf Nurkic. Wow. Like they had this thing they said when they traded CJ McCollum where they were like, we are now going to build for the future around Damian Lillard. And that just feels like, again, so deeply patronizing to Damian Lillard.
Yeah,
like, and really, that's what you're doing, guys. You're building now and for the future around.
That sucks because, like, who's more rabid than Blazers fans? Who? Like, I don't like pound for pound in terms of like value over replacement fan. I made a terrible stat there, Vorf. But like, value over replacement fan in terms of like how rabid and committed, like the Blazers edge people are, and like all of those Blazers fans, they are monsters for their team. They deserve better.
Yeah. They once had Rasheed Wallace hitting Arvydas Sabonis in the face with a towel, and now they have Joe Ingles just being around.
But I would say this to Dame Dalla, people don't want to come to Atlanta, okay? Because they consider it small market. So if they don't want to come to Atlanta, they ain't coming to Portland. I mean, Atlanta is literally the mecca for a young basketball player. And if they ain't coming here, they ain't going to Oregon.
What a failure, by the way, in terms of marketing, that Atlanta is as you just described. That has never made sense to me.
Well, how much time do we have, Pablo?
Right.
Explain the failures.
So there is.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
Yeah. Next on 30 for 30, the Atlanta Hawks.
All right, next quote. Interesting dynamic of who went with Ben Simmons. I haven't had a chance to talk to those guys yet, but I know they weren't on the most cordial terms when he was in Philly with Andre Drummond and Seth Curry. So I wonder how that relationship is now. And your choices are A, Danny Green, B, Joel Embiid, C, Doc Rivers, or D, JJ Redick.
So the funniest answer to this question is Doc Rivers. I just love the idea of a coach just spilling all sorts of tea about
Yeah.
current and former players. It's exactly what Ben Simmons actually hated, kind of about Doc Rivers in reality. Unfortunately, I feel like I would have heard about this if it was Doc Rivers, so I'm going to cross that off the list.
I think it's JJ Redick.
Who's got a podcast? That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Like, who's
JJ
got a
Redick.
podcast? Okay, yeah.
And
I'd
he's
go
been
Redick.
he's been talking about former teammates this week, right? He talked about Zion Williamson. He was a
Yeah.
Sixer. I think JJ Redick.
Yeah, JJ knows things and he's good at his job.
He is good.
Alabaster. I guess we're all going final answer D, JJ Redick.
Interesting dynamic of who went with him.
Whoa!
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to those guys yet,
Whoa!
but I know they weren't on the most of cordial terms when he was in Philly with Drum and Seth. So I wonder how that relationship is now.
I
Okay,
apologize.
Danny.
My name is Danny
Podcast.
Green, and I am addicted to mess. That is.
I did not know he had a podcast.
I didn't either. Oh,
See,
Danny
if we'd
Green.
known, though, we would have been right? We would have figured this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does explain why I hadn't heard about this quote till just now, though. Apologies to you, Danny
Pablo.
Green. I know. This is.
It
And he
had
kept,
to be a
he
bigger
kept
name.
talking. He kept talking, y'all.
He kept talking.
I
Quote,
don't know where his health is mentally. Oh no, go ahead, Pablo. I was
No,
just
no, no.
reading out
Mentally,
loud like I tend to do.
physically. I know he had other issues, and we all know he does not like to play in Philly. If he does play in that game, I would be highly surprised. End quote. And he's talking, of course, about March 10th. Nets
Zero
at
chance.
Philly.
Zero.
Zero point
Zero.
repeating.
Zero chance.
I don't want
As
it.
someone
I don't
who was
want
like-
it. I don't want it.
Oh, it would be. It would feel unsettling. As someone who like StubHubbed, I was like looking up ticket prices for this game. Like if Ben Simmons did play, I was like all in on going, and then I just began to feel like a little like queasy on his behalf. Like this is not how you want to reintroduce yourself to the NBA after playing 249 days of not basketball.
Don't give Philly a chance to Philly. Don't. You know how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
It's gonna go poorly.
Yeah.
Very poorly.
Yeah.
Especially, and not just because, right? Like the fact that he basically cost them that playoff series against the Hawks or any of the other stuff, but because Philly fans really believed that they supported Ben. Like they really felt like they felt like they like went to counseling and they evolved and grew and they feel like I'm telling you as someone who like works with a Philly fan and whatnot.
Yeah.
I
that
know
they really,
the Gandhi is
yeah,
all
like,
about this, and I
they-
feel
yes.
gaslit. Elle, I
Yeah,
feel gaslit.
That's how they feel. So they feel even more upset that he would act like he was abused, in Philadelphia, and they are angry.
I feel gaslit by Philadelphia 76ers fans. The people who are like, how dare you accuse us of being angry? They're just like constantly just like yelling at me about like, how dare you say we were ever mean to this utter disgraceful choke job? It's just like, all right.
Yeah. I mean, go back and look. They were firmly on the hook for, that he's working on his shooting. Like they were there. They were 100% in. And then
There
all
was
that
hope.
happened. Yeah, there was hope.
Get that photo.
They were very hopeful. They were
Yeah.
patient. I mean, they were. For Philly fans, I thought they were pretty patient. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Also, none of them
Yeah.
are Ben Simmons' concern, right? Like that's the other thing
Yeah.
is to go, let's just not have this interaction for everyone's
At all.
benefit. Let's just
At all.
not.
Agreed.
Unnecessary. Because you can't avoid that interaction in the playoffs, but you
Nope.
can avoid it on March 10th,
Mhm.
Although, wait, let's talk strat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want your first time to be in a regular season game where it doesn't matter, you can get it out, get the nerves out, whatever, or do you want the first time to be in the postseason when it
You're talking about,
counts?
like you're saying like a cold tub approach, just like get in there, get it over
Yeah,
with.
just
It's
dive
better
in.
than the actual thing.
100%, right? Like go ahead and before the vaccine, get the chicken pox kids together and let's just, let's get to it early before it really impacts you down the line. I don't know. No, you don't like my approach?
I think like 98% of the time that'd be right. With this particular player in this
Fair,
particular
this is
city,
bad.
I would say context would say no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna like if I'm Ben Simmons, I'm gonna skip this one and then maybe
And you're
count
going to
on
pray,
like
you don't
an
have to play them in
asteroid
the
maybe.
postseason.
Yeah, just like some stuff will happen. Like maybe there'll be some sort of cataclysmic natural disaster that'll prevent me from ever actually setting foot in Philadelphia again. That would be my hope.
Yep.
Great blueprint. So Kyrie's waiting on the mayor, and we're waiting on Bruce Willis to fail, and then that's when he can go back.
Yeah, the oil drillers will save us. Sure, the
There's
oil
just
drillers.
I love that we're all having these conversations where the Suns are like, we're going to play basketball. That's a neat way.
I know.
That's a neat way to
The
win
Suns are
everything.
like, we're the best team in the NBA, and you never even acknowledge that.
Dude,
At
I
all.
laughed so hard because I saw the plan for this show, and right up top, it's like Nets, and then there's a little Ben Simmons down there, and then I opened up, I got the mail, and Architectural Digest was in there, and it's like Devin Booker's spacious and stylish home in Phoenix, and I'm like, they're living so good right now, so good.
Devin Booker's design aesthetic, fantastic.
Impact,
He has like
impeccable.
those old cars
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I love
he
his
is-
Chevy
he's a-
Impala collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he
I
pulled
like
up.
him.
He pulled up in a Grand Natty for the playoffs, by the way, Alabaster. That's when I knew it was over when he pulled up in the '87 Grand Natty with the original seats.
And by the way, as a pure marketing scheme, again, there's no easier way into the hearts of like old crusty sports writers. I remember talking to Wilbon about this. Wilbon like fell head over heels in love when he saw these cars. It's just like, yes, he's an old soul. He plays the
he's an
game the
old
right
soul.
way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
He believes in restoring things. He doesn't want to just get
History.
some flashy. Yeah, he
Mhm.
believes in vintage and the quality of things back when things were quality.
He hates fuel economy.
Yeah.
He likes cars that get 11 miles to the gallon.
That's right.
Before we move on, I feel compelled to throw Pablo Torre under the bus, and that is that we tried to
course.
lead the show yesterday with the Suns, and Pablo tossed out that question to talk about LeBron.
Oh, wow, Pablo, you're one of those.
Well, looks like we're going to have to spend a little more time looking at the stylish contours of all the furniture in Devin Booker's spacious living room.
Foie gras for that is my philosophy when it comes to show production.
You're gonna take this LeBron topic. You're gonna trick it. You're gonna trick it.
All right, and we're going to move on to our final topic, which is, part of our ESPN contractual obligations. What are the chances Tom Brady is going to be a good actor? As
Oh
news
God.
has been delivered that he is starring in a movie he is producing.
He's playing
negative
himself.
100. I don't care. He's gonna be terrible at this. Elle, he's gonna be terrible at this. Like
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was
come
bad
on.
in that. You know that. Well, first of all, he's terrible in commercials, and then he was in that Paul Rudd TV show that was on Netflix, right? Where he played himself, and he was coming out of the orchid. You remember the Orchids of Asia thing? And everyone was like, "Is he trolling?"
A very weirdly
Yeah,
veiled
and
illusion.
yeah, and he was bad, just being himself, and like I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't know. The good news is, like, he went and got. This is what I'm guessing that this story is about a bunch of old biddies who decide that they're going to go see Tom Brady. And I'm hearing in the Falcons Super Bowl, which is like, can you not leave these people alone? Like, you're cruel.
I didn't know
Leave
that
them
part.
alone. Now you're going to force them into one of your terrible movies. But it leads me to believe it's not so terrible considering who they got. Like, these are the goats of acting: Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, and Sally Field. Like, it's going to be good. I think it's going to be like Girls Trip, but with Brady. So I don't think he's going to be the star of the show at all.
So my question is, you're saying that this endeavor that he's embarking on requires filming people? Do they know they're being filmed?
Oh God.
Is this because if they know they're being filmed, I'm not sure. But if they don't know they're being filmed, maybe then Tom Brady could thrive. Just saying.
Those are his best conditions.
I didn't realize that we would conceivably get Lily Tomlin's perspective on the 28-3 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Unreal.
whoa. Really? That's where we are? Great.
I mean, I don't
I'm
really.
in on this now.
The way that Elle feels about Aaron Rodgers is kind of how I felt about Tom Brady for like 15 years. So I'm just going to say this, though, to his credit, I haven't seen him be really bad in anything, right? So I'm going to say it's a better than even chance. I'm going to go 55%. He's not going to be John Cena. John Cena is the greatest athletic actor of our time.
Peacemaker is so good, Spencer. I've been on
Peacemaker.
I've been on like a Peacemaker like publicity tour. Like I just keep telling people watch it because I've never actually cared to see a John Cena movie. Like I've always sort of thought he was sort of like the poor man Rock.
Right,
but
he was so
good in Suicide Squad, and he is so good in this. So if we're comparing Tom Brady to John Cena, then I'm going to say that Tom Brady has like a 7% chance of being a good actor.
Wait, by the way, John Cena steals Trainwreck. Like he absolutely steals that movie. Like
Agreed.
he is perfect from the field on his movie roles. Perfect.
Well, keep in mind also in Trainwreck, right? LeBron James did perhaps as good a job as you could possibly do of playing yourself.
Yeah.
So like it's possible to get away with this. I just like maybe I'm just grading him on the curve of like, or not grading him on the curve of like, hey, I've seen Baker Mayfield do commercials. I've seen Peyton Manning just destroy SNL. I just think the bar for a quarterback to be really good at acting is a lot higher than Tom Brady is just capable of doing.
Correct, because we've all seen his Sleepy's commercials or whatever those mattress commercials were,
Yeah.
and they were bad.
Who's the greatest like living actor / quarterback? I have a nominee.
Oh, I mean, with all due respect to Peyton Manning, I think Baker. I just watched those commercials and I'm like, he is not a likable dude in many regards, but as an actor in a commercial, I think he's really, really, really good.
Yeah. Well, we know it's not Bradshaw.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to. I mean, I'd probably go Peyton. I guess my Broncos loyalty.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Peyton just for comic timing. Just for now, he could be over. I think like he's got competition. Baker needs to show me more range, Pablo.
Yeah,
That's
he's
fair.
only doing commercials,
That's fair.
Pablo.
He's playing himself, yeah,
And
all
he's
the
only doing
time, and
commercials.
Yeah. Ugh, can we get? I was gonna say, can we get a movie about the collapse of the Cleveland Browns that 4 girlfriends go to attend?
Yes.
Just a way sadder version of this movie.
You can call it "What Have Browns Done for You?" Yeah. Absolutely nothing. Being the subtitle, of course. It's a long title, but it's fine. You'll cut it for award season.
Rita Moreno also in that somehow. Just
Still in the league,
itching to
like,
work.
putting up numbers.
She is still stunningly beautiful too.
Truly is.
Yeah.
Truly is.
Oh, he's like, just end this. This
Just
is
end this.
bad.
Just
This
get
is
this
out of
over.
here.
Just go.
Why? You don't like us complimenting our queen, Rita Moreno? Just an institution in American culture?
So wait, did Tom Brady just watch that Netflix show with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin and was like, do they have a couple other old friends that we can throw in the mix and let's just slide that over and have this be a movie?
All I know is that if Tom Brady goes in with that cast, he's going to be great and he's going to get all the credit. It's a very New England Patriots story, right? Like, not a fan.
What a miracle.
Not a fan.
I'm sensing
fan.
that the city of Atlanta, not necessarily the biggest fan of the concept.
They are not going to go watch any of that movie.
Don't put that
Ever.
evil on me. Don't.